What's going on, guys? Parker here, and I am back with another video. And today I got my top NBA and NFL player props for the day. And before we get in this video, do me a favor and subscribe to the channel down below if you are new, as well as giving this video a big thumbs up, as it really helps the channel out a ton and really helps push my content out to more and more people, guys. So I really would appreciate that a lot because, like I said, it really does help me out a ton, really does show your support. And we're on the road to 4,000 subscribers now. So each one of you subscribing, each one of you liking this video means a lot more than you even realize. But also, guys, before we get into these player props, because we do have a huge NFL Sunday slate, second to last week of the season, and then also a pretty decent NBA slate, 2 plays for the NBA, 4 plays for the NFL today. Let's talk a little bit about the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. So if you're not familiar with the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer, it is quite literally a sports betting tool that's going to give you the mathematical best odds to hit your bets every single day, every single week. And long term, there are literally so many people that can vouch for you. You can look it up on Twitter, whatever, look up people vouching for the thing, look up on the website people vouching for it. People can literally make a full-time living using this optimizer, guys. It's really that good, and it's really, really a fun tool that I'm liking to get to learn and get to use. I always post a slip or two a day on Twitter using the optimizer, so I really enjoy using it. But besides that, guys, here's how it works. So as you can see right here, we got Christian McCaffrey under 24 fantasy scores, what the optimizer is telling you to take on PrizePicks, and here's why. The line is at 20, just 20 across all books pretty much, between 20 and 21 fantasy score across all books, and they have him at plus 100. So even odds damn near on other books. So that is just absolutely crazy. Even odds damn near on other books at 20. And that's on like Fanduel, DraftKings, like actual sports books. And obviously PrizePicks is a daily fantasy app, not a sports book. And the line is at 24 on PrizePicks. So obviously, yes, Christian McCaffrey's a monster. He's a beast. But the thing here, it's telling you to take the under. Math is telling you to take the under. And more times than not, when you listen to this app, you're going to take the under and you're going to be successful. So Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer, extremely successful tool, extremely useful tool that will make you a profitable sports bettor long term. I guarantee it. And if you want to sign up for God, I can't talk. If you want to sign up for the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer today, click the top link in the description to my link tree, and then the optimizer is the top link in my link tree, and use code FIELDSFOCUS for 25% off your first month using the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. But without further ado, guys, let's get right into today's video and today's plays. So first off, we'll go NBA first. I got Devin Booker over 26.5 points versus the Magic. The Magic allow the 5th most points per game in the NBA to point guards. Booker, obviously, at this point, is a point guard in this league. He's not a shooting guard anymore. He's over this line in 10 of his 12 home games this season. He's at home tonight. Great matchup for him, averaging 29.4 points per game at home this season. Beal is back, which actually helps Booker's scoring as teams can't double as much. We know the thing with the Suns, why they've been struggling seriously, is because teams are just doubling Booker and Durant, and when they double Booker and Durant and those other guys shoot, they're just not hitting their shots. It's pretty much as simple as it gets. They don't have a good bench at all. Like, they arguably have the worst bench in the league. I probably might say they do have the worst bench in the league. Like, if you take a look at their bench, they're out there throwing Saban Lee heavy minutes. Like, this bench is absolutely horrible. So that's why Beal being back helps, because he alleviates the double teams for Booker, and that will just lead to, Booker getting better shots for himself. We saw the first game back with Beal. He had 35. Expect another good performance. Maybe not 35, but, he'll get 27 at least. So Devin Booker over 26.5 points versus the Magic is my first play of the day. Next up, I got Jayson Tatum over 26.5 points versus the Spurs. He's over this line in 2 of his last 3 games. He's averaging 27.6 points per game on the road this season. Spurs allow the 4th most points per game in the NBA to power forwards this season. Spurs have the 6th worst defensive rating in the NBA this season. Tatum, one of the best players in the entire NBA, facing off against one of the worst defenses in the entire NBA, one of the worst defenses versus the power forward position in the NBA. Just a great matchup overall here for Tatum. Also, like I said, he's been better on the road this season, averaging 27.6 points per game. He's only averaging about 26 at home, so he's a more efficient player on the road. He shoots the ball more on the road, so we should see more shot attempts from Tatum. And I just think that's because role players play worse on the road, honestly. And that Celtics team is undefeated at home, so their role players and everything are just dominant at home. And Tatum has to carry more of a load on the road. So expect him to be more aggressive, expect him to shoot more, like I said. So Jayson Tatum over 26.5 points versus the Spurs is my second and final NBA play. Let's move to the NFL. First up, I got Joe Mixon over 44.5 rush yards versus the Chiefs. He's over this line in 3 out of his last 4 games. Only game under was last week where he had 43, so he was almost there. Over in both career games versus the Chiefs. Chiefs' run defense has been struggling greatly as of late. Mixon should be able to exploit the matchup. We know Mixon is one of the best running backs in the NFL. I don't think that's up for debate. I know I'm a Bengals fan, but I think he's one of the best running backs in the NFL. Tell me otherwise. This guy is going to, he's already over 6,000 rushing yards in his career, and he runs behind no offensive line. I am a firm believer, sorry for a rant, I'm a firm believer that Joe Mixon would put up some crazy numbers if he was drafted to a different situation, but our Bengals just have never had a line to block for the guy. So that's why his yards don't jump off the page every year. But the guy breaks a lot of tackles, and he's just a fun player to watch. So I think this is just a good matchup. They just let Zamir White go for over 100 yards and have a monster game, like 100. I don't know what he had, but it was a crazy game. I think Mixon could do more of the same. Maybe not go for 130 yards or whatever, but, he can go for 45. Like this a lot. Think Mixon gets it done. So Joe Mixon, over 44.5 rush yards versus the Chiefs is my third play of the day. Next up, I got DeAndre Swift. Over 69.5 rush yards versus the Cardinals. He's over this line in 2 straight games. Cardinals allow the most rush yards in the entire NFL this season. Cardinals allow the second highest yards per carry in the NFL this season. Also, didn't write down, but I forgot to mention, the Eagles are likely going to be winning this game by a lot today. Cardinals are not a very good team. They're obviously more competitive with Kyler Murray back, but there's only so much Kyler Murray can do. They don't have a good roster around him. And the Eagles will likely be in a game or in a play calling mode where they're going to be running the ball a lot because they have a big lead. So really confident in this play, really like this play. And DeAndre Swift over 69.5 rush yards versus the Cardinals is my fourth play of the day. Next up for my fifth play, I got Naji Harris over 13.5 rush attempts versus the Seahawks. He's over this line with ease with 19 in his first game with Mason Rudolph as his quarterback. The Seahawks have allowed the 7th most rush attempts in the NFL this season. Seahawks have allowed the 7th most rush yards in the NFL this season. Najee should be able to be effective, which him being effective obviously will lead to more opportunities because Mike Tomlin and the rest of the coaching staff will be confident in their running game, which will lead to more carries for Najee Harris. Like I said, game should be close throughout as well. Shouldn't be a game where the Steelers get down so much that they have to abandon the run game. Steelers should be running the ball a lot throughout the game. Game should be close, like I said. Really confident in this. So Najee Harris, over 13.5 rush attempts versus the Seahawks is my fifth play of the day. Next up for my sixth and final play, I got Jarrett STM. Over 195.5 pass yards versus the Chargers. Chargers allow the 2nd most pass yards in the NFL this season. Stidham is over this line with ease in both games he started last season. He was on the Raiders last season. However, I still think he can easily go over this line today. 195.5 is not a lot of yards whatsoever. Wilson soared over this line versus the Chargers earlier this season. Stidham should be able to as well in this matchup. I don't think it really matters. And maybe Stidham goes out there and balls and throws for a ton of yards. I could definitely see it because I could also see Sean Payton wanting to prove that Russell Wilson was the problem and him coming out with a heavy pass attack, which also could lead that he was the answer. So it's difficult to see what he's going to do in terms of that. But I could definitely see him trying to be aggressive with Stidham and have Stidham try and put up some big numbers tonight. So really confident in these plays. Those were my 6 NBA and NFL player props for this Sunday, New Year's Eve. I hope you guys all have an awesome New Year's tonight. Be careful, be safe. Just have a good time, though. Make sure to have fun. Hope you guys did all enjoy this video. Like I said, if you haven't signed up for the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer, go ahead and click the link in the description to my link tree. And then the optimizer is the top link in my link tree. And then, like I said, use code FIELDSFOCUS for 25% off your first month. But without further ado, guys, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. See you guys in 2020.